It is I, the Crafty Crocheter, and I'll be reviewing the Loops and Threads Quick Knit Tabletop Knitting Machine, so if you're ready to see this, here we go. Alright folks, so here is the Loops and Threads 40-pin knitting machine. Now I got this at Michael's the other day, and I had a $10 voucher, so I got $10 off of this. This was retailed for $89.99, so I got it for $79.99, but I did get a couple of skeins of yarn just to work with it. So and my total came to $94, including the loom, well, the knitting machine, and the yarn. So, and then I'll show, and here's what it comes with. So it comes with the machine, of course, and then also comes with the tension guide that you have to attach, and it comes with the four legs that you have to attach to the machine. And then it comes with a little mini crochet hook. Then it comes with a yarn needle. And it comes also with 6 plastic weight clips, and it comes with a set of instructions. Now, when I tested this machine, I was first using number 3 weighted yarn because the instructions specify to not use the worsted weight. But when I started using the number 3 or thinner yarns, I kept getting dropped stitches, and I kept getting a lot of bad tension, a lot of really tough tension. So I went up to a size 4 yarn, and it seemed to work. Now let me go into the details of the machine a little bit. So here is the 2 settings. You have the tubular setting and the flat. Now, and you can just flip this back and forth in between the 2 settings. Now, for the tubular setting, or T, that is for a continuous round of knitted stitches, if you're making like a tubular type of thing, or if you're making hats. Now for the F, that is for a flat knit. That's if you're making scarves, anything that's required that is flat. So, and then it's got the crank, and it's really easy to, and I'm just turning the crank. It's got 40 pins on there. And now there was a trick I saw on YouTube to differentiate, because there's a black pin right here, this black little hook that starts the round. So I took a Sharpie and I kind of marked the pin right before this starter black hook. So that way if you're counting rounds, then it's easier to figure out where you are in the round. So if you're coming upon the end, then you know to count this next pin as a new stitch of the new round. And then you have, here's the thread, the guide for the yarn, and this is the tension guide. And I've been using, I think, like the more you put in here, the tighter the tension is. So I've been having good luck with this very last loop for the tension guide, and it seems to work for me. So I will thread this, and I will work a sample and show you how it works. Alright, so hopefully you can see this well enough. So I have the camera positioned to where you're going to be able to see how when I loop this. So the first thing you got to do, let's see if you can see this on the camera, is you got to take at least about a foot length of tail, or a little bit of tail, and then you got to loop it around this very first black hook, or the starting hook. And make sure if you're standing behind it that you have the tail on the left side of the hook, on your left side. So I'm going to go ahead and loop that now. And then the instructions say, then you're going to turn the handle clockwise so that the loom actually spins counterclockwise. Then it says you got to wrap around every other hook. So going behind the next one, and then you go into this one. You let that go, then see how then this pin comes up. So you're threading every other hook. Until you get to the starting pin again. So I will work the rest of this off camera, then I will show you what it looks like before we start the first round. Alright, so we're at this black hook again. We completed our round, so you're going to loop this you're going to loop it underneath this again. And then you're going to take your yarn and put it through the yarn guide the tension guide. And then again, I like to use this third one, but you can insert the yarn into any of the 3 available loops that you want. It just depends on what your tension comfortability is. They recommend for the first round, or first 3 to 4 rounds, you work really slow because you want to make sure that you don't miss. Now you got to make sure that this yarn catches on every hook. So you're going to kind of turn slow at first to make sure that the yarn goes under every single hook, because if you go too fast, then you'll drop stitches. So I'm holding on to this as I turn around, because it also says to hold the machine down on the table or any flat surface that you're working, because it has a tendency to rock and to move. And the bad thing about this is, and it was mentioned in another video by another creator, I don't know the person's name, but she mentioned that the feet did not come with any kind of suction or any kind of stability mechanism to keep this still as possible. And I kind of wish that they would have something like that. So so far it's going well. And I'm coming on round number 2. And also they say you got to make sure that your tension is kind of loose for the yarn. Because again, if it's too tight, then you're going to drop stitches. If it's too loose, you'll also drop stitches. So I'm coming upon the end of the second round. So after 3 to 4 rounds of this going slowly, then you should be able to increase your speed a little bit. Then you may have to pull some yarn as you go along, because again, they want that tension to be loose on the yarn. And you're going to hear a little bit of clicking noise. That's perfectly normal because of the tension. But I am going a little slower first for the first 3 to 4 rounds, so that way you don't... And I'm keeping my eye on the loops too, because you don't want to have any dropped stitches when you're working with this machine. Now I'm not sure if this is the same way with Centro or the Addy machines, but with this particular model, you got to go a little slow at first for at least the first 4 rounds. But then after that, you should be able to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to do another round or so, then I'll show you a couple samples that I made. And you got to monitor your tension, monitor that the yarn gets looped under all the stitches so you don't drop any stitches. And after you get a few rows on, and once you feel confident, you should be able to rotate this a little faster, but make sure you're monitoring for any dropped stitches. So I'm going to stop here. And then you kind of see how this is forming along. And the clips come in handy whenever you are working about an inch or so. They just recommend to put the clips on there so it holds for stability. Now I'm going to show you a couple of samples that I made while testing this machine. Alright, so I did a couple samples of this at first. The first one was kind of, it tore apart with the number 3 yarn. So I decided to go with the number 4, and this is the Bitty Stripes yarn. And the only complaint I would have about this too when you first start out the machine is that it has a tendency to curl up, and it also has a tendency to easily unravel because you don't get that casted on loop like you would if you did this by hand with circular needles or DPNs. But that actually turned out really nice. I like the cut with this particular yarn. And then casting off, I may do a separate video about how to cast off on this, but I'm just showing you the samples that I made. This is the first one with the Bitty Stripes yarn. Then I made another one with the Karen Cakes yarn. Again, I had some leftovers from when I was working that scarf. Again, that turned out to be nice, so I'm thinking there has to be a way to where you can get this more tight and more stable so it doesn't become unraveled, because I've learned that it has a tendency to become unraveled. And then I did a flat one just for with the flat setting, and I guess this turned out nice, but the only bad thing is it has a really bad curling tendency. So we may have to wet block this one, or if we're working with any kind of flat off this machine, you may have to wet block this really bad because it's really like curling up on itself. But that is the flat, and then you also saw the two tubular knitted hat. Alright, so if I had to rate this machine, difficulty is kind of hard at first if you've never used a circular knitting machine, because this is my first. Let me turn this around. Now this is my first one I ever had, so I wanted to test this out and to see if I can actually work with a knitting machine, because like I said, I've never done it before, and this is a very good introductory machine if you don't want to spend over $100, almost $200 on an Addy machine, or Centros on Amazon were like about $40 to $50. But I was kind of in the midway range because I didn't want to go too cheap, but I also didn't want to go too high in price either. But I believe that Addies are a little bit more well-known, reputable machines. So I do want to get one of those to test it out to see how it compares to this machine. So again, this was from my local Michaels. I got it retails for $89.99. And if you have any vouchers, if you're a Michaels Rewards member, it's good to have those on hand so you can get the price knocked off of yarns and whatever other equipment you want to use. So that is my honest opinion and honest review of this machine. So if I had to give it a skein rating, I would do it maybe a 3 out of 5 because it does what it's supposed to do. Again, you can't go really too fast like you can with some of the other machines because it has a tendency to drop stitches, and then it becomes a nightmare to frogs. Yeah, so I may do some more videos in the future about how to feed this machine, how to cast off this machine, and also how to work the flat setting. This is the Crafty Crocheter. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting.